so good to be back. For all you beautiful people out there, we gon' do this one time, yo. It's been a minute, but we back up in the spot again, flowing through the feed, and we appreciate you logging in. We are the Rant Foundation, the pink and the black, we're bringing it back. So when you put your faith in the mask, it's all facts, you should join the conversation. From all elite, so where wrestling is entertainment, it's every week, all new, no repeats, with a crew you should meet. Let me introduce you on the beat, now take a knee, he's the leader of the family, the king of talk style, but you can call him Anthony. Ain't nothing sweeter than a demon diva through your speakers, she got that ladywood, the one and only Issa, and batting third, everybody's favorite nerd with no rhythm, it's Phil, but you can call him Philium. Now sit back and enjoy the feel, cause we're the only ones left keeping wrestling real.
And guess who?
Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday.
IW, we do musicals too. We can do musicals too.
Happy birthday.
Right? You guys get that a little more. Happy birthday. Kind of like that. Thanks, guys. We are back. Who else could take 5 years off, cold turkey, come back and fly Lears off? That's us. That was a Mace line from Fall Back or Lean Back remix.
Oh my God! What made you think of that? Random.
Mace was my favorite rapper growing up, and
Mace.
You do a lot of reflecting when you're. Harlem World was my first rap album I owned. When you're 33 years old, you start reflecting on stuff. Today's been a lot of reflection, and then I just had to change a lot of diapers because my wife had to work and I had to take care of the kids. So had a lot of shitty diapers to change. But thank you guys for sticking with us. Last week, scheduling conflict. It was a bad week personally for my family as we lost my wife's grandmother this weekend. So it was just a lot of personal stuff happening. I had a migraine. I didn't feel good. Phil was busy with work. It was just a good week to take off and kind of like gain energy and miss it a little bit. So now we're back, and it's been a great week in wrestling. Hell in a Cell had no business being as good as it was. AEW, we're going to talk about the Jericho MJF segment because that had a lot of conversation, and we'll talk about more. If you are a Patreon, we are going to do a special show after this. It'll be on Patreon tomorrow, remembering Evolution, as it is 2 years since Evolution. Issa was posting about it all day. We started talking about it, the great memories we had, the great matches, Nikki Bella's farewell match. I might get emotional. You don't know. You never know. But that's going to be next. But if this is your first time listening, thank you for checking us out. We are the Rant Foundation. We are building the foundation of wrestling fandom, and I am your host, the King of Talk Style, Anthony DeStefano, and with me, as always, is the Bearded Bunny Philium.
You could look, but you can't touch.
Only if you had the booty shorts. If you had the booty shorts on,
you don't see what's under this camera. You have no idea what I have
on.
Bro.
I mean, come on. We live in the world now where you can.
For people who aren't watching this video, just understand something. On Ant's birthday, it is official Rant with Ant Day. You have to wear Bella's merch, or you have to do the Nikki Bella dance. There's either or.
Booty shorts. You have to wear booty shorts.
That's on you.
And
shout out to Issa's cat ears.
You guys in the chat. I'm a cat. Duh.
Yeah.
I'm wearing booty shorts.
There you go.
There we go. And my happy birthday to me. Elwood Master, the leader. There should have been the person who leads Retribution, because that is
I want nothing to do with
how
that.
things change in 2 weeks. We're gonna get into that too. It's Issa. It is the Demon Diva. What's going on?
Hello. Hi. Hola.
So Issa had a viewing party, and it was great. So go on YouTube and watch the clips. Hell in a Cell, Demon Diva, Hell in a Cell, it kind of goes together. Issa had her own Halloween havoc because everything she wanted to happen on the Hell in a Cell show happened.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into that. First off, they open up, right? They open up the show with Roman versus. I've never been so hyped at the beginning there. I'm like, wait, they're opening with this? And then Nicole kept talking. Nicole, shut the fuck up. Shirtless Roman's coming out. Changing sexuality for like 20 minutes. Just calm down. Let me watch this, and then I'll come back to talking to you. But What did you guys think of the match? I tweeted something that got a lot of responses, and I think it's something that should be kind of talked about. Is Phil and I, our favorite wrestling is AEW, right? Phil, that's our company, right? That's the company that we enjoy the most. AEW is known for a lot of moves, right? A lot of moves in a match, no 5 moves. This didn't have 100 false finishes. This didn't have spammed finishers. This was a story, and it made the match even better. So while we say we like AEW's wrestling better, I think Roman and Jay, the 2 matches they had, are matches of the year because of the storytelling involved in the match. Now, you're not going to watch it, mute it, and say, oh, that match is amazing without knowing the story. But when you know the story, it means so much more. Every move means so much more. Every body language means so much more. Issa, let's get into your thoughts. What did you think about Hell in a Cell's opener, Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso?
I was very surprised that they opened with that. I actually felt like it felt a little backwards. I mean, good for Randy. You guys know I love Randy Orton, so good for him to get his moments. But I felt like either this or Sasha and Bayley should have closed the show. It was very emotional. It was almost like we literally watched it in silence almost the entire match, which goes to tell you how captivated we all were. We couldn't even talk. Like, we didn't want to miss anything that was said between the 2 of them. I thought it was perfect storytelling. If I want to nitpick, it should have not been in the cell. It could have been just an I Quit match. They barely used the cells, and I feel like the same story would have been told without the cell, and we would have had then just 2 Hell in a Cell matches, and it would have not felt such an overload of Hell in a Cell. I'm nitpicking at this point. You know what I mean? Like,
the only thing I didn't get is, with how brutal this feud has been, I thought that would be the match to have in the cell. And it ended up being the match not to have in the cell, because I think McIntyre and Orton used the cell amazingly, and Sasha and Bayley stole the show, right?
Yeah, I agree. But I feel like I think that their feud is brutal, but not long enough to need the cell. I always feel like the cell is something that is either long built, like Sasha and Bayley, even though it was their first match on the main roster. Like, it feels like it's such a long time coming that it makes sense. And then Randy and Drew have been going at it for like 6 months. It needs to end. So, but what better place to end it? Here, the match, I don't know. They're just, they could wrestle in a parking lot, and they would probably put on an amazing match. That's just what they're doing.
Right? My pet peeve is that there is a pay-per-view called Hell in a Cell, because it takes away from the cell, right? Because remember the first time we saw the cell with Michaels and Undertaker, remember the battles Triple H and the Undertaker had inside the cell, and it just felt like it was, oh my God, if it gets to Hell in a Cell, these 2 are going to kill each other. Now it's a pay-per-view where we had 3. And again, they had no business being as good as they were. 3 Hell in a Cell matches in one card, when this structure should feel like the main event itself, right? It shouldn't be the whole event. It should be the main event. If you're going to do it once a year, do one cell match and have
it random. Have it at a random point during the year. It doesn't have to be. It's not like Money in the Bank, where like Money in the Bank is its pay-per-view because it's a way to like it's a year. A year has gone by and you have to cash in your briefcase, right? So that's a whole thing.
That's the only gimmick pay-per-view I like. Survivor Series is coming up. I think Survivor Series
who cares?
Stupid.
And then when's the last time not even involved anymore?
Mattered.
It doesn't.
Right.
But that's the name of the pay-per-view. That's different. But like having it's like, are you going to have a pay-per-view called Steel Cage and like force everybody? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Don't give him ideas, Phil, please.
Survivor Series should be a tournament to see who faces the champion at your second biggest pay-per-view, Royal Rumble. That should be a Survivor Series. Right now, you have Survivor Series writing itself, but you totally killed off Retribution. These guys were supposed to be the outsiders. If you had them come in and actually be dangerous, then you could put Raw and SmackDown together to try to take out Retribution. But instead, we'll get into that later. So the Hell in a Cell match, I think, Roman Reigns, right? And I think the moment that really grabbed us all, thank you, Kyle, in the chat, by the way. The moment that really grabbed us all was Roman's crocodile tears, right? Roman starts crying. I lost myself. And the mental behind that meant so much, because it makes you think, is he really upset that he lost himself? I don't think so. I think this is the new Roman. He knows the beating that he put on Jey Uso at the other pay-per-view. Jey didn't quit. Jey didn't tap. Jey had to get the towel thrown in. He knew Jey was not going to quit unless he took his brother, who's already injured, his vulnerability, and used it against him. Was the only way Jey would quit. Just like the only way Jimmy made Jey quit was Jimmy threw in the towel. Now Jey had to quit to save his brother because Roman now knows that the brothers are going to try to save each other. So I think that was a great moment of Roman acting vulnerable, acting like he lost himself. So he knew that Jimmy would bring it in and embrace him just so he could choke him out. And I think
I
that
personally thought there were tears of frustrations. I always love how you and I always see it so differently. I personally thought it was tears of frustrations of I cannot believe I'm gonna have to do this shit to the two of these guys again because they're just not getting it. You know what I mean? That's how I saw it. It was more of
that's why
what I'm about to you hurts me, but I have to do it. Not like I lost myself, which is how a lot of people saw it. That's how, because I felt like he was faking it the whole time. So I'm like, he's faking it. He's gonna trick them. So in my opinion, it was more of he's frustrated that he has to do that to them, because if they would have gotten the message, which was like lay down for Roman, take the pin and let it go, none of that happening.
I think that's what's beautiful about it, though, is we all got different stories from that. And whoever said Roman couldn't act or Roman couldn't sell, like, look at what he just did, because everyone's confused of what that meant.
Well, the thing that I loved the most about the match was, even though Roman is a heel, right, and the Usos are the baby faces, it's not like I'm doing this because I hate you. I'm doing this out of vengeance or whatever. Like, he's still like, you're my family and I love you. On Busted Open on Monday's episode, Bully Ray, if you guys enjoy this match, definitely go check that out, because Bully Ray kind of breaks it down. I think the best that I've seen, right, where he was like, this, it felt like we were watching them like at their house and the whole family was around and they were just fighting, and they were like, let's see who the high chief is, right? We've seen all these movies that have that type of culture in it, and there's always like this isn't a like I'm trying to kill you. This is a like, you think you're the big dog now? Cool, you need to beat me to become the leader of this family. That's the whole thing. Roman is the leader.
The way Roman's been acting, though, is what throws me off. Right?
Yeah, but true. But then if you look at the end of the match, you had Afa and Sika from the Wild Samoans come out and put the whatever around his neck.
Yeah, he's a tribal chief.
But like, that's a big deal, because like the Wild Samoans and Roman's family,
right?
They were the top dogs in the family. Now they're giving it to Roman. And then now, if you think about storytelling, right? In Samoan wrestlers, right, you can go, there's two different families. There's the Anoa'i family and the Maivia family, right? And they're combined, but if you go to Peter Maivia is The Rock's grandfather, and then, you know, the head shrinkers, I think Sika is Roman's dad. So like, you do that, and then that could be the storyline that leads to the match. I think it's incredible storytelling, and if they just end it here, it was incredible. And if they want to keep it going, but that's what I'm saying. If they go to Mania, it's also incredible, because even though Roman is his heel, he's doing it to lead the family. So if
they're going to fall
2 months from now,
they're going to fall.
I'm saying, if a week from now you want to have the Usos be next to Roman, it doesn't make them look weak, because he's just doing this because he wants to lead the family. Type of thing, you know?
Here's the question in the chat. Kyle, I like this. All Elite Podcast, Kyle, go check it out. We're going to be collabing with them after Full Gear, doing a super show. So you're going to want to stay tuned. But question for you guys, how do you book Rock into this with the lead up to Mania rumored match? Well, I think, when's Jimmy going to be healthy? Because I think next you can get some burn out of Jimmy, right? You can have Jimmy say, now I got to step up, because, you know, and then you can get some burn that way. It would be very easy. The Rock is The Rock. The Rock is a legend. What I would do, I wouldn't even advertise him for SmackDown. I'd bring him out for Raw, where Roman's not supposed to be. The Rock flies in. He's cutting a promo. Finally, I'm back. Roman comes in. What are you doing in my yard? I'm the chief now. Books itself. You've been away for years, buddy. Now you're back. You know, it's built into what is going on. Issa, let's kick it to you, and then we'll go to Phil. How would you incorporate The Rock if this match is indeed happening, which is in Florida, of their home state? Why wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't think you need to work hard at incorporating The Rock at any storyline. It's the fucking Rock, and this one just makes perfect sense. At some point, I think you just have Roman ravage through everybody and cut
Spear
promos talking about how.
Rikishi.
Yeah, not even them. I'm talking
Everyone.
about everybody, and just say he's the greatest Samoan to have ever done this, and that's how you bring in The Rock and say, "Hold on a minute, you are maybe now," and then we can build to it. I think The Rock can be inserted at any moment, at any time, if that's what it's leading to, which I hope. I'm trying to not get my hopes up because I hate when we fantasy book ourselves into something, and if it doesn't happen, we're just so disappointed.
Yeah,
but
we'll get Roman versus
it just
Drew.
only makes sense, right? Like it only makes sense. I don't know, but I don't think you have to work hard to incorporate any family member into this feud at this point, because that's what they have made it all about. It's family.
Recount Thursday, shout out to them. Great guys. Again, check their show out too. You can gradually have members of the family confront Roman, and he continues to have battles with them, saying he is the chief. So, yes, you don't even need to have a feud to have Roman. He could be fighting Randy, but he could be saying he's the chief, and it could just people could just be popping up backstage segments.
Yeah, he can spear like The Rock's mom. She's always there.
Yeah,
so
right.
He can take a spear.
Knock her back.
But that's what I'm saying. And then you have him cut a promo.
After I remember when I had $7 in my pocket.
Yeah, you have him cut a promo in February, just trashing Peter Maivia. I'm the real, and then that brings The Rock out, and then you could have The Rock, maybe
Maivia, Jerry curls and all.
Oh my God, imagine! But then, I think it sets it up perfectly, because then it will lead to the Mania that is going to be in LA if the world opens back up, and if it doesn't, you can have a cinematic match with them in Hawaii or Samoa, whatever, with their whole family around
in a circle or whatever. And
you can have Jacob Fatu from MLW. You can have all these.
Oh my God! If Jacob Fatu comes, I'm going. I'm flying.
That's what I'm saying. Like you can have this whole thing build up, and which leads to Roman and The Rock, which I think is perfect. But here's my thing, and here's what I want to tell you guys. To me, this entire storyline of making Roman the High Chief, in my opinion, the ultimate end of this isn't The Rock. To me, the ultimate end should be at some point at SummerSlam next year, maybe even
Snuka.
No, at some time SummerSlam next year, or maybe if you want to go to not this year's Mania, next year's Mania. The whole point of the storyline is who's the next face of the company, right? And here's why. When you did the whole thing with Cena beating The Rock, once Cena won, it was like, okay, what do we do now? Cena's the top guy, but there's no more. I would love to see it. Roman beats The Rock at Mania, and then he's on this war path for almost an entire year being champion. And then whoever who you think as a company is the next big face of the company, whether it's Big E or Keith Lee.
Yeah, you have a year to figure it out. Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. You have an entire year to figure out who you as a company think is the next Roman or the next Seth or whoever, right? And then at SummerSlam, they are the ones to beat Roman. Because now Roman has beaten The Rock at Mania if that match happens. And then he can give the next generation a shot. Like, hey, maybe it's Adam Cole. Maybe it's someone we don't even know yet that's going to surprise us. But I think that if they're going to do this High Chief Roman thing with The Rock on the side, they should also be building someone else.
Well, yeah, you're not just the High Chief of the family, the tribal chief of the family. I like that. I am the chief of WWE. You want to talk about brass rings? You want to talk about glass ceilings? I've shattered them all. I've done everything. I'm the man. Even when the fans hated me, I was the man. Now the fans love me. I'm still the man.
Because if you think about it, right? Roman's kind of Brock Lesnar right now. Yep. Because that's what I was thinking of. When Brock beat Cena, Brock became the guy.
When he dominated Cena, then he beat
Roman became the guys by beating him. So right now, Roman is essentially Brock Lesnar, right?
So Brock broke the streak, right? And then went and dominated Cena to win the title. Mm-hmm. And then had a reign like we've never seen.
An unpopular opinion, I want Roman versus The Rock to look like Brock versus Cena.
That would be amazing.
I want it to be a match. I want Roman to destroy The Rock into retirement. I don't want it to even be a match.
The Rock can't really probably fight, like have a 30-minute match. What you're looking for is the build-up and the moment. The Rock versus Hogan, some say, is the greatest WrestleMania match because of the moment when they stare down, right? Mm-hmm. That's the only point of the match where I'm like, wow, that match, the match was meh, right? that moment of two icons face to face, that's what you bring The Rock in for. Because it's The Rock who is the biggest star in Hollywood that WWE made because he had $7 in his pocket, blah, 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 blee, blee, blee. And Roman Reigns, the same career path. Nobody wanted Rocky Maivia. They chanted die, Rocky, die until he turned heel and he became the most popular, exciting, electrifying man in pro wrestling. And you're seeing the same path with Roman Reigns, both from the same bloodline, same family. Now, who is the chief? Who is the best ever? And that's what it's going to come down to.
So my thing is, and I see Kyle in the chat saying spear 1, 2, 3. So no, not that fast. If you remember where Brock just
he murdered Cena in slow motion.
That's what I want. And like you can have The Rock get a couple of shots in, but I want it to be a point made that Roman is unstoppable. That way, in I would say SummerSlam, whoever beats him, right? If it's Big E, fine. Then when Big E beats him, Big E is now the guy because he beat a Roman Reigns character that destroyed The Rock. And then Roman is untouchable at that point, the same way Lesnar is, because Lesnar could do anything he wants because of what he did to Cena. But here's
the thing. If worse comes to worse, right? If worse comes to worse and The Rock can't do it, can Cena be an option? Because that right there, main event of WrestleMania, Cena's always been the kind of guy that.
But Roman already beat Cena before even he did the tribal chief. So.
Battleground. Like I wanted that.
It doesn't matter though. It happened. If he beat him when he wasn't the guy, this should be easy work for him. Then you have a 1, 2, 3.
If The Rock can't show up, just have the whole family shows up. He beats the Usos. He beats Naomi.
He beats his family. And then the Mysterios come out. All 18 of them.
Yeah. He beats them. He spears Aaliyah. Then Aaliyah gets up, falls in love with him, spears Dominic. Let's just keep this going.
At this point, if you're gonna bring Cena back, I hate to even throw this into the universe, but you need to have Randy drop the title 2 more times so they fight for who has the 17th world title reign between Cena and Orton.
I think that's going to happen, right? I think Orton against the Fiend. I don't think the Fiend wins. I think Orton gets cashed in on by the Miz because the Fiend beats him so bad.
I don't understand why they keep putting the Fiend into any kind of fucking title fucking feud.
Just
like stop that.
Undertaker won like 5 or 6 titles his whole career. Right? You don't need it. Like put him over here. But I do think it's a way to get Randy cashed in on. So then he loses the Miz. He beats Miz at Rumble. Here's my thing though. Edge wins the Rumble. Edge versus Randy for the title at Mania is where I think they're going. Because the top of that card looks pretty goddamn good with Roman versus Rock, Edge versus Orton. It might be a little bit of 1999.
See, I wouldn't want Edge versus Orton if we're getting Roman versus The Rock.
I feel like we just had so many slow matches between Orton. I would rather see, like I told you, number 17. Somehow the title is vacated. They both have 16 title reigns, and whoever wins at that match will break Ric Flair's record.
But my thing is,
The Rock, wait. Cena and Roman fought at No Mercy. That's even worse. Backlash.
Doesn't matter.
Mercy.
They fought, and Roman beat him.
But my thing is, if we're gonna have this dominant title run from Roman. That is, I mean, it seems like it's all go for this Roman Rock thing potentially. I want the WWE Championship to have some new faces in it. Give me Randy versus somebody new, right? Because if Roman and The Rock is almost
who's on Raw right
now,
you
figure it out. You can have the Rumble winner challenge Randy. You could have anybody win the Rumble, right? And then they challenge Randy. That's someone new. That's someone different.
Big E going over on Randy is
no. I don't want it to be Big E. I don't want it to be Big E.
No,
I
Big
want
E's for later.
Big E's for later.
I think Edge is going to get one more run. All the greats do. They always come back and get a run. Batista, well, he didn't end up where he was supposed to.
Fucking break in the first fucking time and then have to relinquish. Don't be fucking deja vu bullshit. Like. I'm sorry. It's what happens. I'm not trying to be ruthless right now, but
no, you're right though. But
too sensitive. It's just like we don't need to put the title on people that are going to get injured anymore. Like this NXT has a whole curse going on right now with that fucking title. Like let's not put it on somebody that's so injury prone. And if you have a match that was pre-taped and he got injured in that, imagine on a live match where you don't even have the time to pause, stop, keep going. I'm sorry. I'm glad that he was able to come back and maybe he'll retire in his own terms. I don't know that I will put my main title on a show that's struggling right now on a guy that you don't know if he's reliable or not.
I just want someone new. That's all I
do
want.
too. I
don't want it.
When you
I don't
look
want
across
it,
the
Randy.
landscape,
No.
when you look across the landscape, who?
Keith Lee. You made this big deal about Keith Lee. You give him his moment.
I don't care about
But
Keith
here's the
Lee.
thing. Remember, Roman and The Rock are going to main event, or Becky and Ronda, if that match happens, they're going to main event. So Randy can do whatever the hell he wants because that match isn't going to main event. So you could have anybody.
We already had Randy versus Bray for a title, which was the worst WrestleMania match.
I'm not gonna do Bray. It has to be somebody that, in my opinion, has been up for a world title.
I like Keith Lee, right? But I don't like the way they're portraying him. I don't care. Just like we're gonna get into Retribution right now because they're on Raw. What was the point of making Ali the leader and having all these things to have Mia Yim convulse or whatever the fuck happened last night?
Is that what happened? I didn't watch Raw.
They're losing every match that they're in. Every match. What are you getting Retribution for? You still suck. Like, I don't get it. Like,
at the same time, I have an issue with fans that talk so much shit about Retribution, and then when they just let Retribution get buried by the Fiend, so the Fiend gets elevated, then they talk shit like, "Oh my god, they buried them." Well, you guys hated it to begin with. Like, you know what I mean?
The Fiend, but like you literally are having them lose, and I love the Hurt Business, but like again, why are we throwing these feuds away on Raw with Survivor Series?
Gave up on Retribution before Retribution became a thing, so you might as well let them fucking job out. That's my whole point. It's like
I don't even put Ali as
and now that they're losing, everybody's like, "Oh my god!"
I don't put Ali as the leader because I think that Ali gave them a spark, and then they've lost, and it's like.
Listen, if Retribution keeps jobbing, this could be a turn for Ali saying, "Fuck you guys are also not helping me," and he continues to be some kind of heel that drops them too, and he's destroying on his own because they're not helping him. You know, like I still think Ali can be saved, but my whole point is
that's all I'm worried about. Retribution.
Yeah, everybody thought that Retribution was trash from day one, and now that they're treating them like that, everybody's bitching about it. It's like, make up your mind.
Here's how you save Retribution, right here.
Keith Lee.
No, here's how you save Retribution. In a couple of months, you reveal that the Fiend was behind it. He was brainwashing Ali. They have a match at Mania. Ali beats the Fiend, and now Ali's a babyface again. He's the next star of your company. Done. I don't even fucking work there, and I came up with something better than this stupid-ass Retribution storyline that from the beginning I said was shit.
Yeah,
it'll always be shit.
I just don't get like
a group with someone named fucking T-Bar is not going to succeed. It is not taken serious.
Bebop, whatever. I don't Rocksteady. I don't care.
And how do you have them on the pay-per-view? And it's Bobby Lashley, who is the CEO of the Hurt Business, and you put fucking Slapjack in there. Not even Dio Madden, not Dijak. No, Slapjack. Like, are you kidding me, bro? They're not taking this shit serious. And then Mercedes Martinez is in it. She's not in it. Mia Yim is possessed. I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. And they're heels, but they're losing to heels.
Who's booking?
And they're losing to heels. Like, I just don't understand.
Phil, chat me up on who's booking this.
I don't know what's going on anymore with Raw because SmackDown is so good and Raw is so shit. It makes no sense. It's like they're doing it on purpose. They're like, listen, everyone's watching football anyway. Who cares what the fuck we do?
Yeah, I felt like Raw had its moments only because it brought me back. But then, like, when you think about it, that feud between Randy and Bray was not the greatest. It had its moments on the promos, but then once they got into WrestleMania and the House of Horrors, I was like, I do not need to revisit this, but I appreciate it. You know, like I get it because I don't want any more Randy and Drew. But I don't think that Bray needs to be the guy that you put in between to break that up. Like, you know what I mean?
Give me Randy versus AJ Styles.
That's what I want. That's what I want. It happened, but it was like I think it was like a number one contender match when they were both on SmackDown. Not really like
that. Give me a full feud with those two guys.
Do you remember fucking Randy Orton reversed the phenomenal forearm right into an RKO?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's go crazy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's nobody in the building. And right now we're booking to Rumble. So let's have fun for the next few months and have him in AJ.
How creative can you get? Like, you've already had the Fiend drop titles like in all different ways. So like, I just don't even want him around I'm excited for it because I think Randy's at the peak of like his run right now. I think this is the best Randy Orton's been consistently in like a decade.
Luckily, because I finally pulled the plug, they were about to kill him with all the times he lost to Drew McIntyre over bullshit. I'm sorry, that ambulance match was trash, and we all know it. And
oh my god, we sat here and made fun of it for 25 minutes.
Yeah,
but then, now the Fiend, who is literally probably the coolest character they've created in the last 10 years. Now you can see where they go with this. But it's like the only way I see this going that protects the Fiend and kind of protects Randy, because I do think they're going to have Randy have another title reign. They're going to have the Miz cash in. Is the Fiend's going to beat him so bad, maybe Retribution then attacks the Fiend to get their retribution, and Miz comes in and pins. Something stupid, something corny, but guess what? It kind of transitions. Now the Fiend, you can go the fuck out and beat up everyone else, but stay away from the title, because once they put the title on you, they don't know what to do, right?
So I'm seeing Jeremy in the chat saying WWE won't resist putting the belts on Fiend and Alexa. And here's the thing. The Raw's women's division needs Alexa. Because Asuka is fucking useless as champion when you don't have someone good for her to go against. And Charlotte is gone till probably who knows. And Becky...
And you have booked Asuka into such an unbeatable force, but Alexa with her mind games right now, I could see them cheating away into her beating Asuka, because that's how Sasha got the belt off of Asuka for that entire week or whatever. It was by playing, like, by cheating with Bayley. So why not using Alexa Bliss's weird head games right now and get her to beat Asuka that way, so you still protect Asuka since she's so precious right now.
And then you also have the Fiend serve as Alexa's manager somewhat. And then because the Fiend is so popular and he generates so many views as a character, you're taking his views and you're giving it also to the women so they have more views. And then maybe people will care about Asuka a little more.
I would have Firefly Funhouse Bray be Alexa's manager, because it'd be hilarious, right? That'd be hilarious, that dude at ringside, right?
Yeah, and then have the Fiend when he needs to show up.
Because to me, it looks like Alexa, like they kind of control each other. Like there's times where Alexa looks at the Fiend and she kind of controls him. But on the Firefly Funhouse this week, it looked like Bray controlled her.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like some weird shit. I don't know, but
it's interesting, right?
Yeah.
It's something in that 3-hour show to make you want to watch. Like I didn't even watch Raw. I didn't even care to watch Raw, but I still went and watched that YouTube clip of them because I care about those two as characters. So if you take that and you take it away from the title, let Randy be great on his own, and then work with AJ or work with whoever, and then you take their feud.
AJ Styles and bodyguard that they put on him, which great, because that dude is intimidating as fuck. But why can't AJ have that dude beat up Randy backstage? And that's how you start that freaking feud right then and there. Like I am into AJ Styles using this guy for you know what I mean, to do the dirty work.
It's very Shawn Michaels Diesel-esque, right? Shawn Michaels hid behind Diesel, and then finally Diesel became that star. You know what I mean? So maybe they have big plans for this guy, and that's why he's with AJ, right? And maybe he's really good, and we don't know. We don't know anything about him. But if they use him properly and build him up as this intimidating force, you're right, Issa. You can put AJ in any feud you want, because it's not even him causing it. It's his bodyguard. So then eventually his bodyguard's going to get him into shit that he doesn't want to have to be in. And that's where the line gets drawn, you know?
Right.
But that's a great storytelling, and it's exciting. Again, Phil, you said it's different, right? That's all I'm looking for Raw to be, is different. You had my attention with Retribution. You're losing my attention. Raw Underground lasted 3 weeks. That's gone, right? So you're trying all these things, and I can't fault you for trying. I'm not going to sit here and be like, try, because guess what? Sometimes shit sticks, right? Who would have thought, the Shield, for instance, right? No one knew how people would react to the Shield. They ended up being your top 3 guys of this decade, right? So we need to have them try out new things. Do I think they're handling Retribution right? No. I think it's really dumb, and I think but they're trying new things. And I think they didn't even want a new faction. I think it was something to try to get views and garnish views, because viewership was so down during the pandemic. They needed to try something different, and I cannot fault them for that. But now it's like you have the Thunderdome for at least a month more. Your viewership's getting back. Roman Reigns is back. People are talking about your company again. You got to make Raw watchable. You got to give me...
people are craving sports. Now you don't have NBA. You don't have baseball here shortly. So people are going to start craving, once again, things to watch.
You got to give me watchable sports. You know
exactly.
What I mean? I just think SmackDown hits it out of the park, like all the time. Like Daniel Bryan's back. Like, why isn't that guy on Raw? Right? Why isn't that guy on Raw?
But the thing is, SmackDown's putting entertaining people on TV. That's the difference,
Well, like,
right?
here's
and
the
there's
thing.
entertaining people on.
Jey Uso is a top 10 promo in that company. And they give him a mic and let him be entertaining.
But they're like equally, like you have the Street Profits who are highly entertaining and they're on SmackDown. Sasha's entertaining and the Mandalorian starts on Friday. So, you know, she's going to be talked about week after week because she's a part of that show. You have Roman at the top, like you said, Daniel Bryan, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. Like there's Bianca Belair is getting this great promo work, right? Like Zelina could cut a promo when you need her to. You have the stuff with Aleister Black. Like there's a lot of people on that show that are being used. You need to start using your other people.
As many talented people
on Raw, but they're not using them.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Hey, you can go down Raw and say,
there's
talent. And we went through this. But it's like, The Fiend is the top guy on Raw, right?
Mm-hmm.
Orton, Fiend, Drew.
But you need to spread it out. They put it all in one.
For how long now, right? We don't want The Fiend near the title. So this goes back to what Phil said. Now it's time to build. Let's build Bobby Lashley. Let's build him to main event.
Let's build the Miz. You have an opportunity to make the Miz awesome again now that he has the briefcase because you turned them into a joke and he cut a promo and in 5 minutes he made the briefcase more important than Otis did in 6 months.
Otis was, listen, we got to do something. Otis was the desperation of the pandemic. You can't tell me otherwise. He was popular for 2 weeks.
Otis was the fact that Vince liked him and it was a stupid booking, and I'm glad that they did what they did on Sunday because they owned up to their mistake and said, all right, we fucked up, we take it back.
Yep. He could have easily failed cash in against Roman, but I still think they like Otis, and I don't hate Otis in a tag team. I don't like him solo.
That's not happening anymore.
Another tag team they broke up for no reason. Honest question, because I don't really watch Raw consistently. Is there another tag team on that show? Because I know there's a New Day. I don't know, but who else is on there? Because like even Ziggler and Roode are on SmackDown. So like I don't even know who's even left.
I don't know.
That's the same. Like so you
that's why you
had Otis try to cash in and then fail, and then you could have brought Heavy Machinery over to Raw because you at least have someone for the New Day to face. Like it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
At this point, just have them face to women because the women tag team seems to be big on Raw right now.
It's a shit show. Raw is a shit show. No tag teams. Now let's talk about a company that does have indeed a lot of tag teams, a lot of great tag teams. But we're not going to talk about the tag team unless these two form one, which I don't think is going to happen. I want to talk about Chris Jericho and MJF. Issa, going to kick it off with you. You're not the AEW person, right? But I'm sure you watched the clip. You didn't?
I didn't.
You didn't watch the clip. I've watched it like 1,000 times. All right.
I did it.
You've heard about it, I'm sure.
I did.
They did a full-on musical.
I saw like a short. I saw a short, not the whole thing. I saw a short version of it.
All right, so I saw it live, and Brittany was sitting next to me, and this is what we thought the whole time. So the segment the week before where they were in the ring, I hated it.
Yep.
It was weird. It had some funny stuff in it, but I just thought it went on too long. Whatever. And when they said they were having a steak dinner, I was like, oh man, this is getting like really corny, really fast. Okay. Right? So no, but this is before it happened.
Yeah.
So then it happens, and I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes. And it was just one of those things of like, I shouldn't be enjoying this much.
No, exactly.
It is hysterical that they went. It was almost like a joke. Like somebody was like, "Oh, what are they gonna do? Have a song and dance?" And they were like, "Yep, we are." And it's gonna be
Family Guy. It was an episode of Family Guy. That's 100%. What I was watching.
But it was hyper entertaining. It was so much fun to watch. It showed because we know that MJF can sing because we've all seen the clip of him on the Rosie O'Donnell show as a little kid singing. And then like we know Jericho can sing. So it was like Jericho, it was something really funny to do.
Jericho really can't.
I mean, he can sing better than me. So I mean, who am I to judge?
No, I don't think so.
But it's like, listen, I thought it was hilarious, and it was something good to have in that show.
Wasn't even the song and dance; it was them ordering, right? And just they kept changing the temperature on the steak. They wanted it well, and then Jericho was like,
steak?
"What was that?
Was it an Omaha steak?"
Yeah, he used the code Jericho,
yeah,
and got it. No, but the best is like he's like MJF's like. Yeah, I want one well done with a potato. And Jericho's like, oh, yeah, I want one medium well. And then, MJF, Velma, strike that down for me. And then eventually they get these steaks and they're literally just fucking raw steaks.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just like that back and forth, because that's
and
the
it fit
dynamic
perfectly on that show.
Yeah,
if you watch the whole show, it was filled with matches that were in the tournament, right? And so it was just match after match after match after
Kenny
match.
fucking ran, and I wanted to see Sonny get
Me
some.
too. But you understand because
dude,
Janela was out.
Dude, Kenny is becoming the cleaner. Kenny's going to be your next world champion.
But that's why it works perfectly, right? And
right?
it's the Jericho MJF stuff. If it was on a show that had all funny clips like that, it wouldn't have worked as good. But it was the fact that it was on a show that had so many singles matches that were awesome, right? And so many great like wrestling segments, that to have just some random segment like that was so much fun.
I mean, I just think that's what I liked, right? Like, I love when they first started talking, and like a month ago, and they would say something, they walk away from each other and be like, what a jerk at the same time. Like, they'd be all nice to each other's face and stuff like that. But I loved like the little, it reminded me of Kevin Owens, right? Kevin Owens and Jericho with that chemistry. I felt that with MJF and him when they were sitting down at dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's because they did the Roman Reigns thing, but they did Orange Cassidy instead. But I really enjoyed it. And I think as much as I don't see Jericho as a main event guy anymore, this is the guy that he's going to pass the torch to. Like, I think MJF is going to be this era's Jericho, if you will.
See, this is what I want the WWE to do with their veterans that they're not necessarily using in a main event level. You need to start building these newer guys, right? Roman and Seth are your guys, but they're not going to be your guys forever. You need to start building who's next. It should always be who's next. Who's next?
It's not even just because it's not even just because you got to build them for like 5 years from now. You need to build them for right now.
But 2 years ago,
2 years ago, Roman left with leukemia. You know
that's what I'm saying. Anything can happen
you don't
at any
know.
time.
I mean,
like,
no one to step up.
Becky and Charlotte are out, and your women's division is fucked on Raw because you did not build any of these other women besides Asuka, and now there's no one for her to face. And now you have Peyton Royce and Lacey Evans in a team, not in a team. Who knows what's going on? They're changing Nikki Cross's music. Mandy Rose was getting billed, whatever, and then she beat Sonya, but now she's in a random tag team for no reason. Who cares? Shayna Baszler's a badass, a legit badass. You throw in a stupid tag team with Nia Jax, it still doesn't make sense. And it's like you can have the talent is there. They're not using it, but they need to use their veterans like they are with Jericho, because people who are Jericho fans, right, are going to be, MJF is really talented. He's really good. He's really funny. The same way Jericho got Kevin Owens mega over, he's going to get MJF over, obviously, in the other way because MJF is a heel, but still.
Well, I don't know. With some of Y2J's recent posts, I think Y2J is falling out of popularity with a lot of people.
The only issue that I had, and it's not even an issue, I am the queen of some people take this too seriously and we need to line up. So any segment that's considered good fun, I'm here for, right? But I just remember getting so much shit for enjoying when The Miz and Morrison did that dumbass music video about Braun Strowman. I loved it. And so many people told me that it was a joke, and it's the exact same people that I see tweeting about how amazing this was. I was like, I'm sorry, it is the same thing. Whether you want to admit it or not, it is the same thing. And you can't give me shit for enjoying it when two other people did it. That's the part that I don't like. It feels very one-sided, like, okay.
No, it is, and it definitely is.
I didn't appreciate that. That's the only thing that I commented about it. It's like, I love a good fun segment anytime.
There is stuff where both shows, the try hard, right? Remember, This Is Your Life with Bailey. Like, they try to be funny, and it's not. It's just not. Now, R-Truth is comedy gold, right? Jericho, you put him in a segment, he's comedy gold, right? Him and Kevin Owens, or even like, I feel like Elias and Kevin Owens, when they had that short stint together, hilarious. But you're not, you don't have to try to be funny all the time. But there's stupid stuff in wrestling because it is entertainment. Miz and Morrison's rap video being one. It was the stupidest thing I ever seen, but I laughed my ass off, right? Just like this was so outlandish. You're like, listen, AEW did a musical, right? But it was so outlandish and so different. And it was, if you listen to the lyrics, it's hilarious. You have to laugh, right? wrestling's not supposed to, and that's the problem. Is like people came at me that day because I said wrestling's fun, like just have fun with wrestling. And then everyone started shitting on AEW and they're like, Hangman's drinking beers. I said, yeah, because beer drinking's never gotten over in wrestling, right? The biggest fucking star of all time used to chug a 30-pack in the fucking ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fact that we're still AEW's been on TV for a year. We're still having this debate. People are still having this debate online of like either or. Like, if you don't like it, don't watch it. That's fine. You don't have to like the Jericho segment. It was one segment on a 2-hour show. I don't have to like what they're doing with Retribution. It's one segment on a 3-hour show. Right. If you don't like it, don't watch it. I don't like Raw right now, so I'm not watching it. But the thing
just, of it is, it's like even
people are attacking each other for no
reason.
When
the people that don't watch it are the most opinionated about it.
That's
it's
what
like
I'm
when
saying.
Ken just said to me, we're going to start with Isa. What did I say? I didn't watch it, and that's it. That's the end of it. And I'll give you what I know. I enjoyed a segment similar to it. I would have probably enjoyed this one if I watched it. It's not... You know what I mean? But the problem is that you have the people that this is why I stopped watching WWE, and they get so opinionated. That's the part that bothers me the most. It's like, I don't watch AEW, but you also, when I watch it, I will tweet about it. If I don't watch it, I'm not going to tweet about it to just say, I'm not watching AEW because it's not my thing. No, I'm not watching because I have other things to do on Wednesday. Actually, to be fair, quite honest with you. You know what I mean? It's not even of a... I don't like them. The few times that I sat down and watched it, I did like it, and I just don't understand why can't we just like everything going on? Like wrestling is a thing that we should all like.
Be a fan of the wrestlers. That is it. Forget the company, because Impact is doing some cool stuff. WWE, AEW, like New Japan. There's so much good wrestling.
Doing their own thing,
right? Everyone's having fun. Or everyone's putting out fun matches within their product. Not everything's great. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. But just watch what you watch. Like, I like AEW right now because I love the way they're booking the tag team wrestling.
And that's how can you hate WWE when we started this show? And sentence was, Hell in a Cell had no business being as good as it was. Get what? WWE still have it. As much as you hate it, all 3 Hell in a Cell matches delivered in a whole different way. I loved every single Hell in a Cell match. Now, the fillers in between, we didn't need them. Let's be honest.
Here's the thing. I just and I used to love them, but I just realized how much I did not miss Elias at all because they don't know what to do with them.
Right.
Like, they don't know what to do with the guy. And they wait too long on these stars. They wait too long is my only gripe with WWE. Like, Elias was red hot. You waited. Braun Strowman was red hot. You waited. And you wait till they cool off, and then you want to make a big deal out of them. By then, I'm on to the next because you didn't care about him, so why should I?
And it's so true because, like, whenever it was a year or 2 ago, when everyone wanted Elias, you booked someone else. Now we want, these other wrestlers, Aleister Black, Ali, Riddle, Ali on the show, and you're not booking them, but you're booking Elias now. And it's like, you're like 2 years too late. I don't want to see fucking Jeff Hardy on another goddamn card unless it's a feud that is booked beforehand and that is going into a pay-per-view. I'm tired of seeing Jeff Hardy wrestle. I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of it. No, I'm fucking tired of it because Jeff Hardy's like to go out there and do a swanton bomb for no reason.
Guys, I don't know if you know this or not, but Jeff Hardy has addiction problems. WWE, we fucking...
I should use that on a storyline to make it really mean.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's what I hate even more.
Like, it's been the last 6 months. We get it. He's been back for 6 months. Can't the guy
if you're going to use Jeff Hardy, have him beat Elias and then move on. The Raw of the draft, we had Jeff Hardy versus AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins. I want more of that from Jeff Hardy. I don't want to see him fighting people we don't care about in feuds that are all the same.
Elias had an EP coming out on Apple Music, so they were like, fuck, we got to put him on TV so people remember who he is. And they were like, oh, Jeff Hardy, you're right there.
Jeff Hardy, yeah.
I don't know if I'm out of touch, but I listened to that album, and he's about as good singer as Jericho is, but he sounds worse recorded, right? Like, Jericho actually sounds good recorded. I can't listen to it. I don't know if I'm just getting old or maybe I'm just a music critic. Give me MGK's album on repeat over that. You know what I mean? Like, I can't listen.
I haven't listened to it, so
I can't listen.
To you for doing that.
I haven't listened to it.
Listen, I had to. I had to so I could come on here and say, hey, this album's good or not. And I'm like, it sounds like he can't sing.
Was that your birthday gift? Somebody downloaded the
Someone
Elias
gave
album?
me the Elias hard copy.
Yeah.
I'm actually have it coming on vinyl next week. So
The vinyl. I'm
I
gonna
can-
get that for you.
I could break it in half and slit my own throat with it.
You're not escalated.
But no, that and then AEW happens, and then that was like the main topic, right? It is like why can't we enjoy both, Phil? Like we all good, what's bad, and it's a fair assessment.
Because there's people on both sides who the argument is who use something bad happening and attack, right? No show is perfect, so throughout any show there's going to be bad segments or mistakes, and then AEW fans are like, oh, this is why I stopped watching WWE, and then
It's
WWE
because
fans like, this is why I don't watch AEW.
It's because they sit down thinking, let me hate this, instead of
That's
saying,
what
let
I'm
me
saying.
find something about this show that I'll enjoy. Because every show, NXT, AEW, Impact, every show's going to have something that you like if you really look for it, if you sit down looking for it and not trying to find something to hate.
And it's so stupid because, especially with people saying, and it being a fact, right? There's tons of WWE stars in AEW right now. So these are like, everyone was like, we want Luke Harper on TV. He's so good. You get Luke Harper as a TNT champion. People are like, Luke Harper's TNT champion. You liked him like a year ago. So now you don't like him. You want an FTR to get a chance to show people how great they are, to show that they're the best tag team in the world. They are doing that right now. So if you just watch AEW to see their segment because you were a fan of them in NXT, then you just watch AEW to see their segment. It's one segment, you're in, you're out, you keep going.
AEW, the only thing I could say is they shot themselves in the foot with is they bashed them a little bit too much. The whole real sports feel, we're not going to be entertainment. Here's something that I think they learned along the way. You have to have entertainment because it is television, right? Yeah. Now they don't have to have, as much as WWE doesn't, and they don't, right? AEW has a lot more matches on their show than Raw or SmackDown does, and they're focused more on wrestling. They're focused more on tag teams. So yes, they did say they were going to change the world, and yes, they said it was going to be a more sports-based approach. But they said the thing that shot themselves in the foot is we're not an entertainment company. Well, you are, and
and improved it with this segment that we're talking about.
And they're embracing that. But it's people like you've never changed, right? You've never I want to ask people, as a person, you've never changed. You never said something, and then 6 months later, you're like, maybe I didn't like Machine Gun Kelly. He's now one of my favorite artists out. It changed, right? I changed in 5 months. Your opinion can change. Your view on business can change. Our view on the podcast could change, right? It changes, especially when it's big business. You want to talk about changing? Work for a corporation. I work for a Fortune 100 company, right? You know how many fucking things change weekly? Because stockholders and shareholders and the stocks and the market and what we can do against competition, fucking weekly, daily, but we get an email weekly. Things change. AEW said stuff, and then they learned along the way they need to have some entertainment, and their entertainment has been good, right? So I think this town hall meeting Wednesday night is going to be fucking phenomenal.
Wait, they're having a town hall meeting?
Yeah, because
see if MJF can join the inner circle.
Which is clearly going to lead to them having a match at Full Gear, which is going to be awesome. But there is good stuff happening on every single show. And even though I shit on Raw, right, the Orton stuff for the past 8 months has been fantastic. And it's like the Hurt Business is amazing. The Fiend and Alexa is amazing. So it's like there's stuff within the show. Like if you don't have to watch the whole show, right? It's unrealistic to think that they expect people to watch like 30 hours of wrestling a week. Like come in and out where you want, when you want to go. Like I'm going to be honest, I, as a big AEW fan, I could care less about Moxley versus Lance Archer, but I'm really invested in Moxley versus Eddie Kingston. Honestly, and me being
Eddie Kingston's twin brother.
Yeah, no, I don't look that Spanish. It's not get crazy, but like me being like a giant women's wrestling fan, I could care less about anything that's happening with the women in AEW because they are booked horrendously. But I will tune into NXT to watch what they're doing over there, and it's just I will watch Impact for the women over there.
To Hell in a Cell and see the girls steal the show because that match was
incredible. Was incredible.
Sasha
I'm not even
Bailey
a Sasha fan, but it was so good.
We don't even have to imply it. You know what we think about it. It's been the feud of the year. It's been the thing that got us through the pandemic. And now Hell in a Cell, it's going to go down as a top 10 cell match, in my opinion. I'm not saying WWE is going to put it as one. It's going to go down as one of mine, right? Because I enjoyed it so much. I couldn't take my eyes off TV. The storytelling, the brutality, that match belonged in a cell, and they proved why. And
it was a perfect way to end a title reign that was 380 days long.
Exactly. Like, that's exactly how that title, I 1000% agree with you. And the other thing is, like, Sasha has been in every female Hell in a Cell. So she deserves to have her coronation fucking moment, because she has made all 3 of the women's Hell in a Cell amazing. She's the one that looks broken she's the Jeff Hardy of the women's division, because my God, she takes some bumps and you think she's dead and she's not. So listen, it was just so perfect. It
was awesome. And then afterwards, Sasha cut the promo on like the online exclusive where she was like Billie Kay and Ruby Riott and Bianca Belair.
Bianca Belair sent a tweet. I popped for that.
Listen, and this is why I saw a comment earlier from Jeremy saying that both divisions need NXT people. I do not think SmackDown does. I think there's a lot of talent already there. And I think Raw definitely does, because Raw just needs new blood everywhere.
Just bring Rhea Ripley up. God damn.
On Raw. Like, bring it to Raw. But like, I think that SmackDown has some good stuff, and Sasha could work all these other women, and maybe, the long-term storyline is maybe her versus Bianca at Mania. Who knows, right? Or whatever. But I
don't think her and Bayley are done, personally. No. They can be done. Like, I know if it was up to me after seeing Hell in a Cell, I will have them fight forever. So I will call my own self out on that, because I'm the one who says this feels go on too long. But the 2 of them, let them fight forever if they want to. Like, they're so fucking good in the ring.
And from having the women's match be the best match of the weekend, there was a match that I was really looking forward to that never happened. And that's Deonna Purrazzo versus Kylie Rae. I was so looking forward to that match.
Yeah, Kylie Rae got hurt.
Actually, it's like a mystery. People are saying she wasn't hurt. And they're saying it could be mental issues. It could be, I don't know. But there's like 4 different stories going around. Whatever it is, I love Kylie Rae, and I just hope the best for her. But like, I was so hyped for the Deonna match, and Su Yung and Deonna was good, right? But like, if you're gonna bring in, and I like Su Yung, right? But if you're gonna bring in Su Yung, why would you end Deonna's reign there? Deonna's been the reason a lot of people are tuning in to Impact, right?
Su Yung is really popular though, man. And they've been telling the story with her. They've been telling the story with the Susie character. I don't know if you saw, where like it's basically Su Yung without the make. It's like Bray and the Fiend, right? Yeah. And so they've been teasing that Susie was kind of going over to that side. And I guess, and with Kylie Rae being out, and Kylie Rae was probably losing anyway. Probably winning, so they probably just switched it. Yeah, which sucks for. I mean,
it sucks. But Deonna did sign a long-term contract, so we'll see her, which is a big get for Impact, right? Another big get for Impact. Again, we're going to talk more and more about AEW as the show goes on, weekly and monthly. But another lost opportunity in your women's division. Deonna is someone who didn't get a lot of chances in NXT, and it's like Tay Conti. Like, Tay Conti's been great for AEW, but like,
and they're not. But here's my issue with the women's division in AEW. There's talent there, right? And I understand they're doing dark, and I understand they're doing TV, and that's it, right? However, a lot of these women they don't have a lot of experience being on live TV, so you need to get reps in. You have one women's segment a night. And it usually involves Britt Baker, which, hey, love Britt Baker. Britt Baker is awesome. But you need to start filtering these women in and out. And I know at this week's Dynamite, we were supposed to get Tay Conti versus Abaddon, but Abaddon got injured in that match. And I don't know if they're still going to air that match or what's going on. But like,
she got hurt bad.
That's what I'm saying. They said she's okay now, that it was just like a precautionary thing, because I think she got elbowed in the throat or whatever.
Yeah, shout out to Carrie. Right?
Yeah. Well, because she couldn't breathe, so they got scared. Shout out to Carrie. We've been talking about it all weekend. But, like, you have talent. Like, Anna Jay is dope. Penelope Ford and Sheeta have amazing chemistry. They had a great match earlier in the year. Like, and Big Swole is good, even though the match with Sheeta wasn't that good. But Big Swole is good. Like, you have the talent. You're just not using them. Like, Nyla Rose.
You still need
a star.
You still need the star.
And but Deonna while you're waiting to sign the star, you need to let people get a chance to do.
Acts like a star. And I think
here's who I wish they would sign.
There's one star out there that's a free agent that
is going to WWE.
How unpopular it is. If she doesn't show up at Full Gear, that means she's showing up at Royal Rumble, and that's Tessa Blanchard.
But I think, and I know she just signed an extension on her contract or a long-term contract. But I think one woman who I wish AEW had was Jordan Grace.
Yes.
Because Jordan Grace is fucking awesome. And she's getting bullshit from dumbass Sabu online for no reason.
Yeah.
And she was great in the X Division match, like she always is. That's the type of people AEW should start signing. Because Jordan Grace is fantastic.
Jordan Grace stayed in Impact for like 6 months without a contract being signed, and AEW didn't even. Again, Deanna was there. Deanna's been there for 3 months, and she just signed, right?
I mean, I wouldn't sign with AEW right now with that women's division.
No,
I feel like I'm gonna stay in Impact
because that is on a major network, right? Major network equals major money, right? Which equals maybe you could be the face of that division. Whatever.
And never get TV time. Sheeta is awesome, and Sheeta's never on TV. She's like randomly on TV.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if you're only gonna use Britt Baker, then put the belt on her, so at least the girls that are going against her are getting some kind of rub.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Put it on Britt Baker. It should have been on her this whole time.
Yeah.
And because she's your top talent, she's the most popular woman, heel or babyface. So that's what you do.
The only one they put any kind of effort behind.
Yep, that's true.
The unpopular.
It's because that's Cody's project.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like she said it when she did a podcast with either Jericho or Chris Van Vliet. She said that like Cody, she's Cody's project. She's someone that Cody was like, I'm gonna make her a star. And you can see, like you said, the difference in the booking that she has over everybody else. Because she was injured for like 4 months. He was injured for 4 months, and she was still on the show every week.
More camera time than anybody else in that women's division.
That's the thing. And Tay Conti, people were like, "Oh, they signed her. It makes no sense." And then she has one match with Nyla Rose, and people were like, "Put the whole division around her." And it's like, oh, you have Ivelisse is good, Diamante is good. There's talent there. They're just not using them. And I think Anna Jay is a fucking star. Build it around her.
Yeah, she looks the part too.
Yep. And the Dark Order is awesome, and she's awesome with the Dark Order. And I know you hate this, but her segments on BTE are hilarious, and like they're building her character.
I don't watch it.
That's what I mean. You hate it because like it's not like for people who don't watch it. It's like you're expected to watch it almost. That's what I mean.
But that's the problem. I hate when they defend the women's division or whatever by saying BTE or AEW Dark. Not everybody watches that. You know what I mean? And it's like some people depend on Twitter clips or TNT or the DVR. Like if it's not there, I'm not seeing it. I still haven't seen last week's episode. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know. I just wish they would do something with them. You know, because
just give them 2 segments. If NXT is a 2-hour show, right, and they will give you 2 to 3 segments for the women, there's no reason why your 2-hour show can't do the same. And I get it. You have amazing tag teams. You don't need 16 fucking tag team segments. You had the tournament. You didn't need all 4 matches on one night. You could have had 2 and 2. Like you need to give your women
put something on. Put Kenny Omega on Dark and like make me want to watch it.
There's some great stuff happening on Dark.
I know, but like I watch Wednesday night and I know that all the stories go.
Yeah.
Make Dark mean like.
Have they used a Dark storyline into like their pay-per-views?
Yeah. Scorpio Sky.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Sean Spears, I think, has a match at Full Gear.
Well, that Sean Spears and Scorpio Sky is the match.
Yeah, that's the match. Scorpio Sky and Sean Spears is the one that they took from Dark to there.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I just think, I'm going to go back to unpopular opinion. If I'm AEW, I'm throwing money at Tessa. And I know she's not the most popular person in the world, but she's the best women's wrestler out there. And she has a name value. And she could be the face of your division. So
listen, what kind of criticism are you gonna get? You got WWE pushing Lars Sullivan right now, who has all the controversy behind him, and they're still going for it. So what's the worst thing that could happen? Whoever signs Tessa, it's not gonna be that bad.
Time I hear his name, I remember he's in the company again. If you would have bet me money during this whole podcast, an hour and 5 minutes, 6 minutes now. I did not think of Lars Sullivan until you said his name just right now.
Nope, me neither.
He's been on every show since he came back.
Yes.
Like,
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
From the worst to the best, we're gonna get off here. We're gonna go to talk about the best thing ever, and that was Evolution, which happened 2 years ago on Patreon. So if you're a Patreon, you will get that show either Wednesday or Thursday. You'll get that show. We're gonna try to space it so it's not too much content at once. And we will be back live next Tuesday as we're going to keep doing this live Like we said, if Phil can't do it, it might just be Issa and I. If Issa can't do it, it might be Phil and I. Whatever. If stuff comes up, sometimes we might have to cancel stuff. That just happens. Again, this is a hobby. We're not running this like a business. If you want Rant with Ant, then there's not going to be a podcast because I can't mentally do that ever again. But thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for supporting. Thank you guys for listening. I'm your host, the King of Tall Style, and you can follow me at Game of Ant. Phil.
You can follow me at Bearded Bunny.
Issa.
At NYC Demon Diva.
And we are at Rant Foundation. Now, here's a little bit of announcement. We're looking for a social media person because I hate social media. So if you want to be a part of the brand and help us with social media, have Wrestling Talk and control kind of our Twitter account, and maybe even come on the show every once in a while, reach out. We would love it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thank you for keeping wrestling real.
Kawaii, so kawaii.
Adios.